Welcome to the Trill and BA Show. I'm your host, Felicia and Rose Anuha, aka the trillest MBA you will ever know. And I'm here to help you survive and thrive in corporate America by giving you the truth and being as real as only I can be. Happy Sunday, guys! Welcome back to the show. Thank you, Chris, for holding it down last week. I didn't feel very well and I couldn't get it together last week, but I am back and happy to be with you guys today. Now, I have something very important to talk about today. In the pursuit of getting promoted, there are so many dynamics at play. You have the relationship dynamic, the relationship to your manager, your manager's relationship to their manager. Then you have the narratives and perceptions people have, not just about you, but about your manager and the team that you work on. There are levels to this game, guys, but one of the most important yet often misunderstood workplace dynamics is company culture. And we throw this phrase around, company culture, but do we really know what it means? Today, we are going to get into what exactly company culture is. And we're going to talk about how it can help or hurt your career journey. But first, corporate warrior spotlight. All right, guys, today I want to big up another corporate baddie. I hope I say her name right. Deisha Barnett is the president of global communications for UPS. Yes, the United Parcel Service. Not to be confused with like the government. No, it's the brown people. So listen, let me tell you a little bit about Deisha. Deisha is an accomplished and award-winning leader and corporate board director who counsels CEOs, shapes strategies, advocates for inclusion, and builds high-performing teams. As the president of the global communications function at UPS, she leads all facets of storytelling, targeting UPS's workforce and external stakeholders. She is a passionate driver of transformation and results. Deisha is on the board of directors for Urban Skin RX, a skincare brand for diverse skin tone. She is the executive sponsor of the company's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. In addition to her previous experience at Walmart, Deisha started her career in Ketchum's consumer brands and multicultural marketing practices. She is known for her authentic leadership, high energy, and impactful approach to storytelling. PR Week described her as a pro who represents the future of PR. Deisha is a proud wife, mom, and alumna of Clark Atlanta University. Shout out CAU. She has a Bachelor of Arts in Mass Communication with a concentration in Public Relations. Her alma mater honored her with its 2022 Pathways to Excellence Award, one of the highest honors given to a CAU alum. Let me tell you something. I had to shorten all the accolades of Deisha. So I just want y'all to know there's a more than this, but this was like a good, well-rounded snippet of the baddie that this homegirl is. I'm so proud of you, Deisha. Keep it going. Do your thug dizzle out here in these UPS streets. We are praying for you because Lord knows I have no idea what it's like at UPS. I just know that sometimes I get my packages and sometimes I don't. But I know that ain't your fault, girl. Now, what exactly is company culture? Well, according to the Society of Human Resource Management, because they HR, they should know better than any of us, right? At the deepest level, an organization's culture is based on values derived from basic assumptions about the following. Roll with me, y'all. 1, human nature. So again, at the deepest level, a company's culture is based on the values and assumptions about the following as a whole. 1, human nature. Are people inherently good or bad? Mutable or immutable? Proactive or reactive? These basic assumptions lead to beliefs about how employees, customers, and suppliers should interact and how they should be managed. The second assumption and value-derived thought process: the organization's relationship to its environment. How does the organization define its business and its constituencies? The third thing is appropriate emotions. Which emotions should people be encouraged to express, and which ones should be suppressed? And the last thing to round it out is effectiveness. The metrics. What metrics show whether the organization and its individual components are doing well? An organization will be effective only when the culture is supported by an appropriate business strategy and a structure that is appropriate for both the business and the desired culture.
Okay, Felicia, that sounds nice, but what all does that mean?
Oh. They go on to say, culture is a nebulous concept and is often an undefined aspect of an organization. Although extensive academic literature exists relating to the topic of organizational culture, there is no generally accepted definition of culture. Instead, the literature expresses many different views as to what organizational culture is. But the reason why I wanted to focus on this is because the first thing that they said that an organization is like core and driven from is human nature. That's the answer. Organizations are nothing more than a bunch of human beings in a box called a building, trying to figure out how to work together for supposedly common goals. But the problem is human nature.
Hello, Peter. What's happening? We have sort of a problem here. Yeah, you apparently didn't put one of the new cover sheets on your TPS reports.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry about that. I forgot.
Yeah.
By nature, humans set their own agendas. Sometimes those agendas come together and we all can work and focus on one goal and everybody can work in unison. But the reality is, in human nature, everybody wants to know, what's in this for me? And because we all have competing priorities, that it always becomes different. You have to understand the core of humans to first start to even process what organization culture or company culture is. Organizational culture can manifest itself in a variety of ways, the article goes on to say, including leadership behaviors, communication styles, internally distributed messages, and corporate celebrations. You know, the office happy hour, the office birthday celebration, the ooh, we made plan, let's party, the annual Christmas party. All of those things are a part of the company culture. Given that culture comprises so many elements, it is not surprising that terms for describing specific cultures vary widely. Some commonly used terms for describing cultures include aggressive, customer focused, innovative, fun, ethical, research driven, technology driven, process oriented, hierarchical, family friendly, and risk taking. Because culture is difficult to define, organizations may have trouble maintaining consistency in their messages about culture. That is key. Put a pin in it. I'm going to come back. Let me finish reading what they wrote. Employees may also find it difficult to identify and communicate about perceived cultural inconsistencies. Let me tell you, these last two sentences is the main thing that keeps most of us not getting promoted. Because company cultures are composed of two different things happening at the same time. You have the things that are known, that are formal, that this is how we hire people. This is how we work every day. This is where the building is. This is where you park. This is where that person parks. These are the rules outlined. These are the expectations. These things are written in places like the company manual and policy and all of the things that you can actually get your hands on. They're in the language of the website, in job descriptions. So like the formal words and verbiage and articulation of the company culture, that's what's written. That's what you can find. That's what you can read. That's important. But then on this side, you have the informal things, the things that are not written, the things that people don't talk about, the things that you need to understand. I will give you a great example. Once upon a time, there was a lonely ABM that wanted to get promoted. And so this lowly ABM decided that she was going to leave the company she was working for and go to another company where she would get promoted into a new role when she took the job. So she took the job and she became a what? Brand manager. Well, what she didn't know, that going to this big dog company with their big dog brands, and she was so excited and just thought this was everything. But what she didn't understand is that on paper, every desk, every brand that you work for in the company is equally as important and contributes to the portfolio of the whole company and all the brands. But in actuality, there was some desk that you should never be on. And if you find yourself on them, you have to hurry up and quickly get off them, or you are doomed to fail at this company. And it will be very difficult to get off that desk. And so if you don't know that about the company culture, that the work you do, no matter how great it is not going to be seen that great, or is going to be discounted based on the project or brands that you work on. And then you have to know that information first, because if you don't see something, you can't say nothing. Like, what are we talking about? But if you know that information, and if somebody would have been honest with you and told you that information from the get-go, then that would have determined how you moved through the organization, how you managed your projects, how you managed the organization, how you built relationships, how you talked about the work that you were doing. You wouldn't go around talking about, oh, I'm doing this for this brand and that for this brand and blah, blah, blah. No, what you would have been doing is going around building relationships, say, hey, I've got to get on another brand because I need XYZ experience and I can't get that on the desk I'm currently on. So can you help me make a plan to get off this desk and onto XYZ desk? That's how you navigate your career. But if you don't understand the company culture, you don't understand the informal and whispered and not spoken rules, and you don't understand the rules that are written in the company policies, guess who not getting promoted? This lonely brand manager. That's why it's so important to take something ambiguous, so ambiguous, and decipher it for yourself. And so when we come back from the break, I'm going to talk through and talk about the layers and things you need to think about as you start to work to decipher your company's culture. When we get back from the break. Hey guys, we got a few more weeks before we start our paid and promoted course. And let me tell you something. It is going to be amazing. We already have a couple of corporate baddies signed up. This group coaching program is going to set you up for success, not only in 2023, but beyond. One of my favorite coaching clients, she was working at Amazon. Not only did she get promoted, but I think now she's gotten her second promotion on her own using all of the tips, tricks, and tactics that I taught her in the paid and promoted course. I'm so excited to see the success of people I've worked with and to know that the truth of it is corporate is simply a game, and you just need to figure out how to play the game and what the rules and the unspoken rules and all the things are so that you can show up and show out. It's that simple. So listen, I need you to go on over to trilliumba.com/coaching, and I need you to sign up for a consultation with me so that I can make sure you're the right fit. In that call, we're also going to strategize how to get your employer to pay for this professional development course. Because why should you have to pay for something that's going to make you a better employee? No. We're going to work this out. So schedule some time with me. Let's chat. Let's talk about how this course can help you in 2023 and beyond to get you paid and promoted. All right, guys, let's get back to the show. So I broke down what the Society of Human Resources Management is basically telling you what company culture is. I think it's a good broad definition for something that's crazy. And basically they told you like, hey, this whole concept is kind of up in the air. But the reason why we're trying to define it is because it's ambiguous, but it has real world consequences. And that's why we need to get a hold of understanding what our company's culture is, how it operates, and how it affects us, and how we need to show up so that we move in that culture in a way that sets ourselves up for success. Even when we're working with people who don't want to set us up for success. It's all about understanding the company's culture. Mm-hmm. So now you gotta understand there's 3 layers that you have to think through when you're evaluating or starting to decipher the company's culture to navigate your workplace, right? So the first layer is really truly the relationship between you and your manager and your manager's direct reports, who may or may not be your peers, but most likely they should be your peers. It's according on the company. Because some companies will have junior people and more senior people reporting into a VP, and all those people are reporting into a vice president, which makes no sense. Because the junior associates do not know how to show up and support a vice president. And a vice president probably shouldn't be spending time hand-holding and coaching and developing somebody so junior. That's why we have these layers, but here we are, guys. How many of you out there work for a company where everybody reports to the VP, the whole team, everybody, nobody has a manager in between? And it could be very annoying because the VP don't have time. Like the VP got to manage the, SVP and the SVP and the CM something and the CO something and the something. Like they got to manage up. They ain't got time for your little behind that don't know what you're doing and need coaching and training and development. And a lot of times they will put that task of people management on the more senior people on the team. That's happened to me. I won't even get into all the past. I'll be quiet. But it's happened to me. And it's frustrating and difficult. And you just have to navigate it. But you need to understand what that dynamic is, what the expectation of that senior person is. All these things dictate the culture that you're living in. It's a subculture. It's like a subreddit or something. It's like its own little thing. And it's dictated by your manager. Then the second layer you have to think through is your manager's manager and that person's team. Because then there's these other interpersonal webs of I don't know. It gets complicated, right? Like these people become your cross-functionals in some ways, or some way you're their cross-functional partner. So you kind of have to kowtow to them, or they have to kowtow to you. There's power struggles. Your manager might be having a power struggle with one of their peers and they both reporting to the same person. And all that creates a different type of team dynamic that's different from the one with your immediate manager. That becomes another culture you have to understand and dig into and understand how to move, what to say, what not to say, the unwritten rules of all that. And that's dictated by that leader. And then the third layer after all of that is the actual company, like everybody. And so you have to navigate, like, do most people come in before 9? If they go to the office at all? If it's a remote company, now you got to sit and think through, how do I interact with these people online? Do I turn my camera on? Do I leave my camera off? Like, what's the protocol? And it really all depends. But in general, if most people have their cameras off, then that becomes part of the company culture. So if you always show up with your camera on all the time, now you're making people uncomfortable. Now you're going against the company culture. Now you become a problem because you couldn't read the room. This is why company culture is so important. And it shifts and it changes as different leaders come in and try to put their stamp and their mark on the company. It creates different dynamics. And these dynamics, that's what composes the company's culture. So it really is about human behavior. Company culture is why you have to become a student of human behavior. Understanding how the humans behave, who influences what behavior, that then dictates how you need to show up so you can be successful. And this is so important. I can't say it enough. Pay attention. Look around. Pick your head up, girl. From looking at that work, that PowerPoint, that spreadsheet, that Word doc, like pick your head up, girl. Look around. Listen, what's happening over here and over there? Even if you're working remote, like ping people. Hey, let's have a coffee chat. You busy? What's going on? What have you heard? What have I heard? Let's share knowledge. because that knowledge helps you understand the company's culture. It also helps you understand how to communicate. I'll give you an example. Let's say you have a manager who's like super busy and they have a hard role. Well, the best way to communicate with them isn't necessarily just how they want to receive communication. It also depends on how their manager needs to receive communication from them. So basically, you may be in a situation where you need to feed your manager information for their manager. And that is a part of the culture that really could be a systemic thing where you have to not think just about your manager, but your manager's manager. And you have to play it out. That's a cultural thing because it really could be the culture may be that I don't need to go through my manager to talk to their manager. It may not be that hierarchical. It may be, hey, a little more collaborative. Like your manager's manager is pinging you like, hey, Felicia, I heard such and such. Can you give me an update? And guess what? You better be fucking ready and you better have an update and you better be comfortable giving it. And you better then also send your manager a recap and say, hey, just want to let you know, your boss hit me up and asked me for an update on this. And these are the things that I told him just to give you a heads up. You better. You better do it or it's going to be some problems. But again, that's a cultural thing. If that person felt comfortable enough to come to somebody who's 2, 3, 4 levels junior, according on who's reporting to who and when, what, where, why. Some cultures, that's fine. Other cultures, if a person speaks to you and acknowledges your presence, you better come correct or that could be career ending for you at that company. Isn't that bananas? Just because some jackass mediocre Bob came and talked to you for 5 minutes and he decided he didn't like your black ass, that your whole career at this company is fucked? Yeah, that's really fucked up. But no, that really happens. So yeah, guys, it's important to read the room or better stated, understand the company culture. Now, when we get back from the break, I'm going to talk about the thing that you need to understand the most important thing when we come back from the break. Hey guys, I'm so glad that you are here listening to this podcast. I want to hear from you. I feel like I haven't heard from a lot of y'all. I haven't gotten any emails in a little bit since the holidays have passed. We're all in the swing of things now that the show is back. We are in full effect. We're in full production mode. So I want to hear from you. What you got going on at work? Send me an email, ask@trillnba.com. If I read your listener letter, your email on the show, you will get a free coaching session from me and I will help you strategize your work situation. So hit me up at ask@trillnba.com and I look forward to hearing about all the shenanigans y'all going through out there because I know it's crazy. Absolutely batshit bananas. Welcome. In addition to that, I also go live on Instagram every Wednesday at 9 Eastern and 6 p.m. Pacific time. So I'm on there for about an hour or so, sometimes a little less. But if you get there early and you have your question ready, I will definitely take the time to answer your question. So it's been a good time. I'm having fun doing that. I want y'all to see some of the work that I do and some of the thought processes that I have about career navigation so you can see how I would help you in your specific situation and you can see if the paid and promoted course is right for you. So these two things in this commercial break. 1, tell me what's going on with you. I want to hear from you. Hit me up, ask@trillnba.com. and say, Felicia, this is a listener letter. And if I read your listener letter on the show, you get a free coaching session with me. The other thing I want you to do is I want you to join us live on Instagram every Wednesday and come with your questions there too. And if you have a real juicy, meaty question and you go live with me, you're going to get a free coaching session too. It's just going to be in front of everybody. We'll keep it cute. You can put a little filter on. You can hide your face. You can be dark. I don't care. I just want to help you get paid and promoted. All right, guys. Let's go wrap up the show. It's time for the most important thing. All right. Here's the most important thing you need to know. I've said it once, I've said it twice, I'll say it 20 million more times, guys. Companies are fuckboys. Treat them accordingly. Yes, that is the most important thing.
Okay, Felicia, but what does that have to do with the company culture?
I'm gonna tell you, the company culture gives you insight into which flavor of fuckboy you're dealing with. That's what company culture does for you. Company culture is the ex-girlfriend that says, girl, let me tell you, let me tell you what he about to do. And if you really break down and get with company culture, you be like, I seen this. Yeah, I seen this before. Okay, he think he running game. I bet. I got you. Let me call attorney Anitra. Right? You gotta do what you gotta do. Baby, listen. Because what's gonna happen is I'm not gonna get got. Okay? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. There will be no shame here. Okay? It's all a game, guys. And the other most important thing you need to take away is that you can't take these companies and their shenanigans. You can't take this personally. You just can't. And I know it's hard, right? Because this is where we make our coins. This is how we live and survive. And you want to play games with my life like this? Sir, ma'am. Really? Chabu. Let me tell you. I am not the one. But you need to play chess and not checkers. So you gotta really stay with it. And you gotta learn how to maneuver in whatever company culture you're in. Don't try to change the company culture. That's not your job. You know why it's not your job? Because you don't get paid to do that. You know who gets paid to do that? The CEO, okay? They get paid to do that. So unless you're the CEO, it is not your job to try to change the company culture. And I don't care what they tell you. Like, we need everybody kumbaya, hold hands. We're going to do it together. You like, okay. I'll do that. And then you take your black ass home and you luxuriate in what you do. And you don't let these people stress you out like that. Like, it's not your job to somehow change this whole organism that came way before you ever got there and will still be thriving when you leave. Okay? So now in the next episode, I'm going to do a deep dive into some tools that will help you assess the type of company culture that you have. And then this will help you understand how you need to show up and be successful in that culture and in that workplace. So that's going to be the next episode, guys. But until then, if you need some advice or help about a specific situation, go to trillinba.com/coaching to schedule a 45-minute consultation with me to strategize and walk through your specific work situation. In addition, you can always email me at ask@trillinba.com. I'm happy to either answer your question or connect you to the right person if I don't have the answer. And that could actually happen because ding, 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 I'm human. Again, that's trillinba.com/coaching to schedule a 45-minute consult with me or ask at trillmba.com to submit your question or concern or listener letter. All right, guys, it's late as hell. I'm about to go to bed. Until next time, keep it trill. The Trill MBA Show is a Fair World Corp LLC production. Executive produced by Felicia and Rose Inuha. Sound design and editing by Chris Mann with Podshaper. Theme music is Kick Push by Ryan Little. Keep it trill every day, y'all.